Alright, so I was just looking over some of my old targets with the Reloader 15 powder, shooting the Hornady 75 grain boat tail hollow point, and I'm trying to decide if I want to keep doing this chasing sub MOA stuff. So I'm going to try out a few more with the AR-15. This time I'm going to use Lake City 5.56 brass. I've got enough of that to do load development with it without wearing out my brass. Got it arranged in my tray. This is how I typically do load development. I'll just do rows of the different powder charges I'm going to be working with. This time I'm doing 3 separate charges, and we're going to do 4-shot groups because I have plenty of those 75 grain bullets. Looking at my Hornady load data book, under the 5.56 service rifle data, Reloader 15 is not listed for the 75 grain bullet. However, for the 223 it is. Another interesting point here is that Reloader 15 shows that it's supposed to be faster than Varget out of the 223 with the 75 grain bullet. I did not find this to be the case in real life, so interesting to see them claim that. I'm going to be loading right in the middle. Let's take a look at some of my older targets. So the best I've done here, you're not even able to see that. Here we go. 22.5 grains, doesn't group all that bad. I've established that. 23.5 grains, shoots much worse. 24.5 grains, doesn't do anything better. What I'm thinking is, maybe if I decrease the charge, that I might be able to get some decent groups out of it, because velocity isn't everything. So I'm going to try it with the 5.56 brass, and we'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do here is, with the 223 brass, I've established that 22.5 grain shoots pretty good with the gun. Because I'm switching to 5.56 brass, I'm actually going to retest that same load, and then I'm going to drop in half grain increments. So I'm going to have 22.5 at the top end, I'm going to have a 22 even, and then we'll do 21.5. So one thing I try and do is I try and keep everything as consistent as possible with the powder charges, especially during load development. It's really important that you try and get everything weighed out as best you can with the equipment that I have. Right now I'm loading up the 22.5 and using my Frankfurt Arsenal digital scale here. I'm throwing the main part of the charge with my Lee perfect powder measure, and then I'm just trickling it up with this Hornady trickler right here. This thing doesn't pick up on tenths of a grain very well, so I constantly have to pick it up and drop it back down. You might be curious why I'm doing half grain increments. I find that if I'm doing like 2/10 or 3/10 increments in the powder charges, they're just so similar that it could easily be a 10th grain high on one, the other one will be a 10th grain low, and the differences you see are so minimal that it gets a little foggy in the performance you're seeing. If I'm really trying to fine tune something, maybe I will. Like maybe I might bump my 24 grain Varget load in the 223 brass. Using the Federal cases, maybe I'd bump that up a 10th or 2/10 to try and keep up with the PMC. Maybe that give me some better performance. But for now, we're just working with this 5.56 stuff. If you want to hear more about the other stuff, be sure to check out the 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of that Chasing Sub MOA series. As when it comes to the name Chasing Sub MOA, that's just some bullshit I came up with off the top of my head. Kind of stuck. I said it in the video, so I started naming all my videos that. I really don't care. It doesn't mean much to me. It helps me categorize my videos. So like my 243 hand load stuff, that's all Quest for Precision using my Tikka T3X. I'm actually pretty new to this. I haven't been reloading all that long. So when people comment about my stuff, I do appreciate it, and I really do consider it. I'm learning. Anytime you shoot a bad group, you're still learning something. You're learning what didn't work. So learning what to tweak in my system of reloading. But yeah, I do like hearing people with more experience than me about what they have to say. and I do appreciate them trying to help me along the way, but try not to be an ass about it. Why do I run a muzzle brake on my 223 and 243? My 243 has a muzzle brake from Witt Machine Company, and their design is called a muzzle rise eliminator, and they've got a lot of ports out of the top, which helps stop the gun from jumping. My Tikka T3X is a sporter rifle, so it's pretty light, and it does jump even though it's just a 243. It does help keep my eye on target when I shoot, and a lot of the times I'm out shooting by myself, so it really helps for me to be able to spot my own shot. Like my Tikka T3 shooting trip video, a large portion of that I was alone, and I had to spot my own shots, and seeing where my impacts were tells me where I need to adjust, tells me what I'm doing wrong, and it really helps. So that's the main reason I shoot with a muzzle brake, even on these smaller cartridges, 223 or 243. 223 is really fun with the muzzle brake, shooting fast. In my AR-15 target transition drills, my gun doesn't kick at all. My wife enjoys shooting it, and I enjoy shooting it. I can shoot a lot more if it's not putting any wear and tear on you. So something to keep in mind there. If you don't have a muzzle brake on your AR-15, I highly suggest getting one, or at least trying one. I think Silencer Co. makes a good muzzle brake. Witt Machine makes good muzzle brakes, and they're all pretty similar. They're all going to work pretty similar, so you can pay as much or as little as you want. Some of the cheap ones do work, like the Jerry Mitchell compensator I run on my AR-15. That thing works awesome, and I think retail is $25 or $30. I'd highly suggest that thing, and you can actually clock it left or right, so if you're holding it with your support hand, it'll push into your support hand and help keep you on your target. And if it works for Jerry Mitchell, it probably works. So the fact that you can get his stuff at a good price, I would have to recommend it. And I've been very satisfied with the performance I've gotten out of it. Alright, so just got my 12 rounds loaded up. I'm going to go ahead and label all my components. This one is 21.5. And I write on all my pieces of brass, especially in low development, just to keep them straight. I don't want to shoot them in the wrong order or believe they're something they're not, and then reload stuff later and get inconsistent results and wonder what the hell happened. So I think I'm actually going to make this video its own entity, and then on this Chasing Sub MOA series, I think I'm going to make a varminting round and get that to shoot as good as I can. Depends on the bullet I pick. I haven't decided yet. However, with the great results I got from the factory ammo 50 grain stuff, I think that I'm going to try some 50 grainers. Writing the wrong shit on my shells here. 22 grains. Reeler 15. So what are some good varminting bullets? Varminting bullets. Varminting. I don't know how the hell to say it. I'm from Utah. I don't pronounce my T's in mountains. Yeah. So if you guys have a good combo that works great, I'm just planning on chasing after some rabbits and seeing what happens there. But trying to keep everything organized here, just writing in Sharpie on my shells. Keep an eye out on my upcoming videos for Chasing Sub MOA 556 hand load testing series, and we'll see the results from these. And that's about it for tonight at the reloading bench. Appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the results from this one.